The year is not waiting for you. The clock has no mercy, and time is the one enemy you cannot negotiate with. Each second that passes is not just a tick on the clock. It is a piece of you, leaving you, never to return. And so here we are, standing on the edge of 2026, staring into a future that is ruthless, fast, and unforgiving. The question that hangs over you like a shadow is simple. Will the version of you that exists today be powerful enough to survive what is coming? Or will you be swept aside like the countless millions who will fade into irrelevance? The world you knew is gone. In its place is a world of acceleration. Artificial intelligence is rewriting industries. Borders mean less, networks mean more. Wealth is concentrating in fewer hands while new empires are rising overnight. The people who were average yesterday will be invisible tomorrow. And this is why you are here, because deep inside, you know the truth. The person you are right now cannot make it through what's coming. The person you are right now cannot unlock the future you desire. You must become unrecognizable. The death of the familiar self. Most people resist transformation because they cling to the familiar. Familiar habits, familiar excuses, familiar patterns of mediocrity. But the familiar is the enemy of greatness. The life you live right now is the sum total of your patterns, the choices you repeat, the beliefs you hold, the standards you tolerate. Look around you. Your bank account, your body, your circle of friends, your influence, your inner peace. All of it is the reflection of the current you. And here is the hard truth. If those reflections are not where you want them to be, it is not the world's fault. It is yours. The familiar you must die. The version of you who procrastinates, who doubts, who hesitates, who tolerates less than excellence, that person must be buried. Becoming unrecognizable begins with a funeral, the funeral of your old self. What it means to be unrecognizable. To be unrecognizable is not simply to look different. It is not dyeing your hair, buying a new car, or updating your wardrobe. Those are surface illusions. To be unrecognizable means that your transformation is so complete, so radical, so undeniable that people from your past can hardly comprehend who you've become. It means financially, you move from scarcity to sovereignty. Intellectually, you evolve from consumer to creator of ideas. Physically, you shift from overlooked to commanding. Mentally, you turn fragility into steel. Socially, you transition from invisible to magnetic. Spiritually, you transcend distraction and live in divine alignment. When you walk into a room, energy shifts. When you speak, silence falls. When your name is mentioned, people cannot connect it with the person they once knew. That is the power of being unrecognizable. The 6 arenas of war. The path to becoming unrecognizable is a war. 6 battlegrounds demand your blood, sweat, and unrelenting will. 1. Wealth. Mastering money so it serves you instead of enslaving you. 2. Intellect. Sharpening your mind into a blade that cuts through ignorance. 3. Body. Building physical strength, endurance, and presence. 4. Mind. Forging resilience, clarity, and discipline. 5. Social power. Learning to command rooms, influence people, and build tribes. 6. Spirit. Rising beyond ego, finding alignment with something greater than yourself. These 6 arenas are interconnected. Master one, and you gain leverage. Neglect one, and the others crumble. To be unrecognizable, you must master them all. The urgency of now. You may wonder, why before 2026? Why this timeline? Because revolutions do not wait. The world is shifting at a pace never seen before. The careers that existed yesterday are vanishing. The opportunities that exist today will be gone tomorrow. Power is not being handed over politely, it is being seized by those who are prepared. If you wait, you lose. If you hesitate, Someone hungrier, sharper, and more disciplined will take the place you thought you were destined for. By 2026, the gap will be wide. On one side will stand the sovereign, the prepared, the unrecognizable. On the other, the stagnant, the familiar, the forgettable. The choice is being made right now, in your habits, in your thoughts, and how you spend your days. The road ahead. This journey will not be easy. It will demand sacrifice. You will shed friends, habits, and illusions. You will confront parts of yourself you have buried under years of excuses. You will bleed discipline until it becomes instinct. But on the other side of this road is a version of you so powerful, so extraordinary that your old self will seem like a distant stranger. When 2026 arrives, you will not just be ready, you will be untouchable. A warning. This is not a book of comfort. Comfort is the drug of mediocrity. This is not a motivational speech you forget by tomorrow morning. This is a weapon. If you wield it, it will cut through the chains that bind you. But if you only listen and do nothing, it will become poison, reminding you of what you could have been, but chose not to become. I will not sugarcoat this. Most people will fail. They will hear these words, feel a spark of excitement, and then return to the warm deathbed of comfort. They will be the same in 2026 as they are today, and life will crush them for it. But you are different. You are here because you cannot accept that fate. You feel the stirring in your chest, the fire in your veins, the undeniable truth that you were made for more. And so, this is your chance. This is your call. The promise. By the end of this audiobook, you will not simply have ideas. You will have a blueprint, a roadmap, a guide that, if executed with discipline, will make you unrecognizable in every dimension of life before 2026 arrives. You will bury your old self. You will build your empire. You will rise into your power. The choice is yours. So take a breath, feel the weight of these words, and step with me into the fire of transformation. The old you dies here. The unrecognizable you begins now. Look at the faces around you, the people you know, your friends, your family, your colleagues. Most of them are locked in cycles they don't even see. They wake up, scroll through their phones, complain about their jobs, live for weekends, and spend money they don't have on things they don't need. Then they repeat the cycle until time robs them of the chance to start again. This is the path of the recognizable life, the life everyone understands because everyone lives it. It is predictable, it is safe, and it is dead. The recognizable life has no mystery, no power, no fire. When people see you living it, they nod in silent approval because you look just like them, harmless, ordinary, forgettable. But you cannot live like that anymore, because something in you already knows the truth. You were not born to be ordinary. The identity crisis. The greatest tragedy is not poverty. It is not failure. It is identity. Most people never outgrow the identity they inherited from their childhood, their society, or their environment. They wear it like a costume, never questioning whether it truly fits. Think about it. If you grew up in a poor household, your identity was shaped by lack. We can't afford that. Money doesn't grow on trees. Be realistic. If you grew up around people who settled, your identity was shaped by mediocrity. Just be grateful you have a job. Don't get your hopes up. That's impossible. And if you grew up in an environment where weakness was normal, your identity was shaped by limitation. That's just the way I am. I can't change. Some people are just lucky. These are the chains you wear without even knowing. To become unrecognizable, you must strip off the identity handed to you. You must ask, who am I, truly? And who must I become to command the life I want? Identity is the foundation of transformation. If you keep thinking like the old you, you will keep living like the old you. Burning the old script. Imagine your life as a script you've been acting out. Every line, every habit, every decision written long before you ever questioned it. You play your role faithfully because that's what you've been trained to do. But what happens when the script is not yours? When the story leads to mediocrity, struggle, and regret? The answer is simple. You burn it. You take the old script, the one written by fear, by poverty, by comfort, by your past, and you set it on fire. Because only when the old script burns can you write a new one. And the new script is where you become unrecognizable. The law of the future self. Here's a truth most people never grasp. The future is not waiting for you. It is already written inside you, being created by the habits you repeat today. The way you spend your mornings. The way you treat your body. The way you handle money. The way you speak to yourself. The way you waste your time. These daily actions are carving the path of your future. If you continue as you are right now, who will you be by 2026? Stronger, richer, wiser, or simply older, more tired, and more disappointed? The law is simple. If nothing changes, nothing changes. If you do not destroy the habits of the old self will live forever. But if you begin today, right now, you can design a future self so powerful, so extraordinary, that even you will not recognize yourself when you meet them in 2026. The 6 mirrors. I want you to stand in front of 6 mirrors. In each mirror, you see a different version of yourself. In the first, you see your financial self, your bank account, your income, your debts, your assets. Do you like what you see? In the second, you see your intellectual self, your knowledge, your creativity, your mental sharpness. Is it sharp or dull? In the third, you see your physical self, your body, your health, your energy. Is it the body of a warrior or of someone waiting to die slowly? In the fourth, you see your mental self, your thoughts, your beliefs, your resilience. Is it steel or is it glass? In the fifth, you see your social self, your relationships, your influence, your presence. Do you command respect or are you invisible? In the sixth, you see your spiritual self, your connection to purpose, to meaning, to something greater. Do you radiate peace or are you lost in noise? Look closely. Each mirror tells the truth. Each reflection is the consequence of the life you've been living. But here's the gift. Mirrors don't lie, but they don't trap you either. You can change the reflection. You can shatter every mirror and rebuild it. You can step into 2026 with 6 reflections so transformed that no one will recognize them, including you. The price of transformation. But let's be clear, transformation has a price. You cannot stay the same and expect a new result. You cannot cling to your comforts and step into power. To transform financially, you must sacrifice reckless spending, laziness, and victimhood. To transform intellectually, you must sacrifice shallow entertainment, gossip, and ignorance. To transform physically, you must sacrifice indulgence, excuses, and neglect. To transform mentally, you must sacrifice self-pity, procrastination, and weak beliefs. To transform socially, you must sacrifice shallow approval, toxic circles, and invisibility. To transform spiritually, you must sacrifice ego, distraction, and emptiness. The world doesn't give transformation freely. It demands an exchange. The old you must die for the new you to live. The world of 2026. Let's step into the future for a moment. Imagine yourself waking up on the first day of 2026. Who are you? Where are you? Do you wake up in the same bed, in the same city, with the same problems haunting you? Or do you wake up with freedom, with strength, with abundance, unrecognizable from who you are today? In 2026, 2 worlds will exist side by side. One filled with those who stayed the same, drowning in debt, addicted to distraction, invisible to the world. The other filled with those who transformed, commanding wealth, embodying power, influencing nations, shaping the future. Which world will you belong to? The invitation. This audiobook is your invitation. It is not entertainment. It is not background noise. It is a mirror and a sword. If you take it seriously, it will cut through every lie you've told yourself. It will expose the weakness you've been hiding behind, but it will also give you the blueprint to rebuild yourself into someone unstoppable. By the end of this journey, you will not simply have improved. You will have been reborn. The beginning of the end. So take this seriously. Take every word as if your life depends on it, because it does. The life you dream of will not come from wishing. It will not come from waiting. It will not come from hoping the world changes. It will only come when you decide with absolute certainty that the old you is dead and the new you must rise. That decision begins now. The old you has walked as far as they can go. The path beyond this point is not theirs to take. It is yours. Step into the fire. Step into the storm. Step into the transformation. The world will not recognize you in 2026, and that is exactly the point. The threshold of transformation. A story is told of a man who spent his life staring at a locked gate. Behind that gate was everything he wanted: freedom, abundance, peace, and power. Every day, he stood there, convinced the gate was impenetrable. He watched others pass him by, and he told himself, they must have keys I don't have. They must have connections, luck, or gifts I was never given. Years passed. His hair turned gray, his body grew weak, and still he stared at the gate. One day, in a fit of despair, he touched it with trembling hands, and to his horror and his shame, he realized the gate had never been locked. This is how most people live. They stand at the gates of wealth, wisdom, health, influence, and meaning, telling themselves the lie that they cannot enter. And all along, the only thing stopping them was the illusion that they were trapped. Becoming unrecognizable means realizing the gate was never locked, and then storming through it so boldly that your old self is left behind, stunned, unable to follow. The pain of staying the same. Before you think about transformation, you must feel the weight of stagnation. Because change doesn't begin with desire, it begins with disgust. Ask yourself, how many years have you already wasted tolerating less than you deserve? How many times have you silenced your own potential because of fear? How many dreams have you buried under excuses, under comfort, under the voice that whispers, maybe tomorrow? There is a pain worse than failure, worse than rejection, worse than risk. It is the pain of waking up in 2026 and realizing you are still the same person you were in 2025, just older, just more tired, just more broken. That pain should terrify you more than anything else, because comfort is not comfort. It is decay disguised as rest. The paradox of reinvention. Here's the paradox. Everyone wants to change, but no one wants to change. Everyone wants the reward, but no one wants the sacrifice. People say they want wealth, but they cling to poor habits. They say they want strength, but they avoid discipline. They say they want wisdom, but they drown in distraction. They say they want influence, but they fear rejection. To become unrecognizable, you must embrace the paradox. You must want the pain as much as the prize. You must want the sweat, the discipline, the sacrifice, because they are the price of evolution. The silent wars within. Listen carefully. The battles that determine your future are not fought outside of you. They are fought in silence, in the dark corners of your own soul. The battle between your excuses and your discipline. The battle between your comfort and your growth. The battle between the voice of fear and the voice of destiny. Every day, these battles are waged within you. And every day you lose, the old you grows stronger, pulling you deeper into mediocrity. But every day you win, the new you sharpens, strengthens, and rises. Transformation is not one grand victory. It is 1,000 small ones. And if you win enough of them before 2026, you will emerge unrecognizable, the future that haunts you. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine yourself 5 years from now if nothing changes. The same struggles, the same income, the same body, the same mental chatter, the same people who drain you, the same nights of regret, of scrolling, of wishing life had been different. Does that image fill you with peace or with dread? Now imagine the opposite. Imagine yourself stepping into 2026 as someone so powerful, so free, so sharp, so magnetic that people whisper when you enter rooms. They can hardly connect the dots between the person they once knew and the person you've become. This is the haunting and the gift of the future. It shows you two doors. One leads to regret, the other leads to reinvention, and both doors begin with what you decide today. Why so few will make it? Here's the truth. Most people will not take this path. Not because it is impossible, but because it is too demanding. Transformation requires killing the version of yourself that the world is comfortable with. The world doesn't want you to be unrecognizable. It wants you predictable, easy to manage, easy to control, easy to forget. When you change, you threaten the illusions of everyone who refuses to change. That's why so many people will try to hold you back. They will say, "You've changed. You're not the same anymore. Don't forget where you came from." What they really mean is, don't remind me of my own stagnation. And that is why only a few will rise. Not because the path is hidden, but because it requires courage most don't have. Becoming a stranger to yourself. The greatest test of transformation is this: you must be willing to become a stranger to yourself. One day, you will look in the mirror and not recognize the person staring back. Your habits will be different. Your discipline will be different. Your body will be different. Your wealth will be different. Your spirit will radiate differently. At first, this will feel uncomfortable, alien. You may even grieve the old you, the familiar patterns, the comforts, the illusions of safety. But then you will realize the truth: the old you was never your friend. The old you was your cage. And the cage had to break. A life that demands awe. What is the point of this life, if not to live in a way that demands awe? Why settle for ordinary, for predictable, for average, when greatness has always been within your reach? You were not born to be a spectator. You were born to create, to command, to conquer. You were not born to be remembered for what you tolerated. You were born to be remembered for what you built, for what you became. To be unrecognizable is to demand awe, not from others, but from yourself. To wake up and be stunned by the power, the discipline, the freedom, the radiance you now embody. The invitation to fire. So here is the invitation: step into the fire. Allow it to burn everything weak, everything false, everything small within you. Let it refine you into steel. This audiobook is not here to pat you on the back. It is here to throw you into the flames, to test you, to break you, and to rebuild you stronger than you have ever imagined. Every word that follows is a weapon, a key, a blueprint. If you use it, you will walk into 2026 unrecognizable. If you ignore it, you will be the same as you are today, just older, just weaker, just more forgotten. The choice is yours. The moment of decision. Right now, you stand at the threshold. Behind you is the old life, the recognizable life. In front of you is the fire, the storm, the unknown. One path leads to comfort, the other leads to transformation. There is no middle ground. There is no safe choice. Staying the same is not safe. It is suicide in slow motion. The only safety is an evolution. So decide. Decide now. Because the old you has walked as far as they can go, and the new you, the unrecognizable you, is waiting on the other side of this fire. Step forward. The journey begins. Chapter 1. Financial Reinvention. Building Unshakable Wealth. The Collapse of Illusions. Money is not numbers. Money is not paper. Money is not even the glowing digits in your banking app. Money is power. And more importantly, money is belief. It exists because people agree to treat it as real, and entire nations rise or fall on the strength of that agreement. When people say they want more money, what they really want is freedom. Freedom from their jobs, from their debts, from their limitations, from their fear of being trapped by circumstance. But here lies the first illusion: money alone will not free you. If you hand a fool a fortune, they will squander it. If you hand a slave a treasure, they will bow even deeper. The truth is harsh. You must become someone who deserves wealth before wealth will stay in your hands. To reinvent yourself financially, you cannot think like the average, you cannot act like the average, and you cannot save like the average. You must transform into the kind of person for whom money is magnetized, drawn in, and multiplied by your very existence. The conditioning of poverty. Let us first expose the lies. You were raised inside a machine designed to keep you dependent. Schools rarely teach you how to generate wealth, they teach you how to obey. They reward conformity, punish experimentation, and mold you into a cog that fits neatly into someone else's empire. The poor are trained to fear risk, to worship stability, to cling to paychecks. They are told to play it safe, but safety is the slowest kind of death. Look closely, and you will see that the system is designed so that the poor fund the rich. Every debt, every tax, every hour of labor poured into corporations is a siphon transferring life energy upward. And yet, here is the great secret. You do not need permission to escape. The door has always been open, but most never walk through it. To become unrecognizable financially, you must break this conditioning. You must rewrite your entire relationship with money until it bends to your will instead of chaining you. The wealth identity. Wealth is not earned, it is attracted. That may sound mystical, but it is entirely practical. Your thoughts, your actions, your habits, your networks all form a magnetic field. If you radiate scarcity, fear, and desperation, money flees. If you radiate clarity, courage, and value, money seeks you out. Here is the key. Money responds to identity, not goals, not wishes, not effort alone. Identity. If you identify as someone who struggles with money, the subconscious will sabotage you until your bank account reflects that belief. If you identify as just getting by, you will never break through. But if you truly adopt the identity of someone who creates wealth with ease, your actions, decisions, and energy will align with that reality until it manifests tangibly. This is why lottery winners return to poverty, because their identity is poor, no matter the numbers in their account. And it is why self-made millionaires can lose everything and rebuild it, because their identity is wealthy, no matter what temporary setback occurs. You must ask yourself, who am I financially? Not who do I want to be, not what goals do I have, who am I at the deepest level right now? Until you answer that and change it, no tactic or strategy will stick. The power of financial extremes. There is a season where you must go to extremes. Transformation never comes from moderation, it comes from shock, from total upheaval. If you are serious about becoming unrecognizable financially before 2026, you must embrace radical shifts. Extreme discipline. Track every dollar. Question every expense. For a season, cut ruthlessly. Not to save pennies, but to reprogram your relationship with money. Extreme income focus. Forget the fantasy of cutting lattes to become rich. True wealth comes from expanding income streams until 1 month's earnings surpass a year's salary. Extreme investment in self, courses, mentors, skills. These are not luxuries. They are the fuel that will multiply your earning power. A single skill can add 6 figures to your life. The average person dabbles. The unrecognizable person immerses. If you want to rise, you must live in a way that the average cannot tolerate. The multiplication law. Here is the immutable law of wealth. Money must multiply. If your money is static, you are dying financially. Inflation robs it daily. Stagnation erodes it. The only way to create financial power is to multiply through investments, through businesses, through systems that work while you sleep. But note this, multiplication is not gambling. The poor gamble, hoping to hit it big. The wealthy engineer returns. They understand that wealth is not an event, it is a machine. When you place $1,000 into an asset that grows into $1,200, you have created $200 of invisible soldiers that now work for you. Expand that to $100,000 or $1 million, and you see the truth. The rich do not work harder, they deploy more soldiers. The reinvention of your finances requires this shift, from worker to commander, from laborer to investor. You must stop asking, how can I earn more? And begin asking, how can my money earn more? The ruthlessness of time. You do not have forever. 2026 is near. Every day that passes is a day where your current habits are solidifying into permanence. Most people treat time like it is infinite, but wealth creation is a race against mortality. The older you get, the fewer risks you can take. The fewer years you have for compounding to work its magic. The fewer chances you have to rebuild if you fall. This is why urgency is your greatest asset. You must treat every wasted day as theft, stolen from your future self. You must treat every hour as a soldier that could be deployed into building the empire that will free you. When urgency fuses with strategy, you become unstoppable. The circle of wealth. Look around you. Who are your friends? What do they believe about money? What do they earn? How do they spend? Your financial circle will either strangle or accelerate your growth. Sit among the broke, and you will be pulled down by their fears, their gossip, their consumerism. Sit among the wealthy, and you will be pulled upward by their vision, their conversations, their investments. Reinvention requires betrayal. You may have to betray the expectations of your family, the habits of your friends, the culture you were born into. You may have to walk away from circles that comfort you in order to find circles that challenge you. The unrecognizable version of you is not sitting at the same tables you sit at today. The blueprint of ascent. So how does one rise? Not through luck, not through hope, but through design. Here is the blueprint. 1. Destroy scarcity thinking. Scarcity says, there's not enough. Wealth says, I can create more. 2. Acquire high-income skills. Writing, coding, design, persuasion, sales, leadership, skills that print money when deployed. 3. Build streams of income. Never rely on one source. Businesses, investments, royalties, digital assets. Diversity is defense. 4. Deploy capital aggressively. Do not hoard. Direct money into multiplying assets. 5. Erect systems, automations, businesses, and structures that generate cash without your direct labor. 6. Scale identity. Align your habits, networks, and self-image with wealth until it becomes your default state. By 2026, this can be your life if you decide with violence and discipline. The threshold of Section 1. Here is where it all begins. The rejection of the old, the destruction of illusions, the decision to step out of financial slavery and into financial command. But this is only the beginning, because building wealth is not just numbers and strategies, it is psychology, environment, and identity. The next section will take you deeper into the architecture of building empires, into the mechanics of multiplying money until your very existence radiates abundance. The architecture of wealth. Money is not meant to sit in your pocket. It is meant to be structured, directed, and multiplied. The wealthy treat money as architecture, foundations, walls, pillars, and towers. The poor treat it as air, something that slips away with every breath. Your reinvention requires you to design wealth like a builder designs a city. No building begins with furniture and decoration. It begins with bedrock. The same is true for you. The foundation of wealth is stability. Not the false stability of a paycheck, but the stability of unshakable assets, cash reserves, diversified investments, protection against collapse. Without stability, every crisis will wipe you out. On that foundation, the first walls you must raise are systems of income. Each stream is a wall protecting you from exposure. If one wall falls, the others hold. Too many people live in houses with a single wall, their job. When the storm comes, the house crumbles. Once the walls are in place, you must build the pillars of multiplication. These are investments, businesses, partnerships, structures that grow beyond you, beyond your labor, beyond your presence. And finally, the towers, your legacy projects, the empires that cast shadows across generations. This is how the unrecognizable financial version of yourself will live, not in chaos, but in design. The exile of consumerism. The enemy of wealth is not poverty. The enemy of wealth is consumption. Consumerism is engineered slavery. It tells you to prove your worth by spending, to validate your identity by displaying, to seek status through things. And so the poor spend to look rich, while the wealthy invest to stay rich. To become unrecognizable, you must exile consumerism from your soul. Every dollar you spend must either bring you joy that cannot be replaced, or must serve as seed for greater wealth. Anything else is poison. This is why many self-made giants live simply, not because they are stingy, but because they understand every unnecessary purchase delays the empire. The world drowns itself in toys while the builders quietly accumulate kingdoms. You must decide, do you want the applause of today or the throne of tomorrow? The lever of leverage. Here lies the greatest secret. No one becomes wealthy alone. Leverage is the multiplier that separates workers from titans. The worker sells hours. The titan sells outcomes multiplied by systems. There are 4 forms of leverage. 1. Labor leverage. People working under your vision, expanding what you could never do alone. 2. Capital leverage. Money working as soldiers, earning while you sleep. 3. Code leverage. Technology, automation, software, AI, that replaces hours of labor with lines of execution. 4. Media leverage. Content, reputation, networks, your words, images, and ideas working in the world long after you speak them. To reinvent yourself financially, you must master at least 2 forms of leverage. Without leverage, you remain bound to effort. With leverage, you transcend it. The war on mediocrity. There is a silent war raging, mediocrity versus mastery. The average person settles. They work good enough jobs, make good enough money, live good enough lives, and they die with regret. The unrecognizable version of you must declare war on mediocrity. Every financial decision must be sharpened like a blade. Every opportunity must be weighed with the eyes of a general. You are not here to survive. You are here to dominate. This does not mean greed. It means refusing to shrink, refusing to live at the level of your environment, refusing to drown in comfort while your potential rots. When you declare this war, you will feel it, the discomfort, the resistance, the whispers of the old life trying to pull you back. But if you hold the line, mediocrity will fall, and in its place, mastery will rise. The empire principle. The wealthy do not simply chase income. They build empires. An empire is more than money. It is systems, culture, reputation, and reach. It is the difference between a person who does business and a person who becomes a force. To build an empire, you must think beyond transactions. You must think in ecosystems. One business feeds another, one asset strengthens the next, one move opens doors to 100 moves more. Amazon began with books, but was never about books. Tesla sells cars, but is never only about cars. Your empire must begin with something small, but it must be designed to grow far beyond its starting point. By 2026, if you embrace empire thinking, you can have more than income. You can have infrastructure, something that moves with or without you, something that carves your presence into the marketplace like stone. The shield of legacy. Wealth without legacy is sand. True reinvention requires that your wealth outlast you, that it shelters your bloodline, empowers your children, fuels causes greater than your own survival. The poor think about bills. The middle class think about retirements. The wealthy think about generations. You must build not only for 2026, but for 2126. Ask yourself, what structures am I building that will still exist when I am dust? What will carry my name into the future? What will whisper my influence into the ears of those who never knew me? To live this way is to be free from desperation. Money becomes more than survival. It becomes immortality. The transformation ritual. Every reinvention requires ritual. Not religious ritual, but intentional action that marks the death of the old and the birth of the new. For you, this might be the burning of debt statements, the cutting of credit cards that enslave you, the physical writing of your financial vision, signed in ink, carried daily as covenant. Such rituals may seem symbolic, but they are fire. The subconscious understands action more than intention. When you burn the old life, when you sign a covenant with the new, your very soul begins to rewire. This is how reinvention takes root, not in vague wishes, but in fire, ink, and irrevocable commitment. The silence of power. The unrecognizable financial version of you will not broadcast everything. Silence is a weapon. The wealthy move in silence because noise attracts vultures. Every dollar you earn will awaken the envy of others. Every risk you take will invite their doubt, and every victory you gain will spark their resentment. Learn to move quietly. Build in shadows. Let the world see only the results when they can no longer deny them. By the time they notice, it will be too late for them to stop you. Power loves silence. Let your moves be whispers until they roar. The unrecognizable horizon. Picture yourself at the dawn of 2026. No longer begging for paychecks. No longer chained to consumerism. No longer fearing bills or economic storms. Instead, standing on foundations you have built, surrounded by multiple streams of income, assets multiplying quietly in the background, systems humming with efficiency, networks of wealth opening doors you once thought were locked forever. Your old self, the one trapped in scarcity, in fear, in mediocrity, will be unrecognizable. They will be dust in the wind. In their place will stand someone dangerous, someone sovereign, someone untouchable. Financial reinvention is not just about numbers. It is about freedom. It is about power. It is about becoming so unshakable that no economy, no collapse, no betrayal can take you down. And when you reach that point, you will understand wealth was never the end. It was only the beginning. Chapter 2, Intellectual Ascendancy, Becoming a Mind That Cannot Be Ignored. The Awakening of Thought. Most people do not think. They recycle. They repeat the opinions of parents, teachers, politicians, media personalities, and peers, mistaking memorization for intelligence. Their minds are cluttered warehouses of borrowed ideas, secondhand beliefs, and conditioned fears. If you want to be unrecognizable by 2026, you must awaken from this trance. You must stop being a consumer of thoughts and become a generator of them. The difference between those who follow and those who lead lies in this single discipline, the ability to think independently, originally, powerfully. The world is full of noise. The unrecognizable mind cuts through it. The forge of curiosity. Your intellectual reinvention begins with curiosity. Not the shallow curiosity of gossip or distraction, but the relentless curiosity of an explorer. Every genius in history, from Da Vinci to Einstein, carried one question deeper than all others. Why? Why does the world work the way it does? Why do people act the way they do? Why does one man starve while another thrives? Why is one system worshipped and another discarded? Curiosity is the blade that cuts through ignorance. It is the light that reveals patterns others overlook. By feeding your curiosity daily through reading, questioning, experimenting, you will sharpen your mind into an instrument others cannot ignore. Do not be content with answers given to you. Answers are the end of thinking. Questions are the beginning of power. The death of passive learning. Education, as most people know it, is a graveyard. Students memorize enough to pass tests, then forget. Workers attend training sessions, then continue unchanged. This is passive learning, information without transformation. Your reinvention requires active learning. This is the kind of learning that demands you wrestle with knowledge, apply it immediately, and reshape your worldview. If you read a book on negotiation, you must practice negotiating. If you study psychology, you must observe human behavior in your daily interactions. Knowledge that is not used decays. Knowledge that is applied compounds. By 2026, you must shift from collector of facts to master of practice. Let every new insight change how you walk, how you speak, how you build. This is how knowledge stops being trivia and becomes weaponry. Mental models, the lenses of power. The most dangerous minds are not filled with random facts. They are structured by mental models. A mental model is a lens through which reality becomes clear. The average person looks at a situation and sees confusion. The ascendant mind looks at the same situation through a model and sees clarity. For example, first principles thinking strips problems down to their raw truth, ignoring tradition and assumption. Pareto's law, 80-20, reveals that most outcomes come from a few inputs. Second-order thinking anticipates consequences beyond the obvious. Inversion asks not how do I succeed, but how do I avoid failure? By filling your mind with models, you carry tools instead of clutter. You no longer stumble in fog, you carry lenses that reveal the hidden structure of reality. This is why the wealthy, the innovators, the visionaries think differently. They're not smarter in memory, they are sharper in models. And you can be too, if you commit to mastering the frameworks that make the invisible visible. The diet of the mind. What you consume shapes what you become. If you feed your body junk, it weakens. If you feed your mind junk, it dulls. Most people feed their minds with gossip, endless entertainment, mindless scrolling, political outrage, and empty distraction. They wonder why their thoughts are shallow. They wonder why they cannot focus. They wonder why they feel powerless. Your intellectual reinvention requires a disciplined mind diet. Read books that challenge you. Consume lectures, not arguments. Surround yourself with conversations that sharpen, not dull. Replace hours of passive consumption with hours of deep immersion. Even 10 hours of profound study can place you ahead of millions drowning in noise. Imagine what 1 year of disciplined intellectual nutrition will do. By 2026, you will no longer think like the world, you will think above it. The weaponization of knowledge. Knowledge alone does not make you unrecognizable. Action does. But when knowledge is weaponized, applied strategically, decisively, it transforms everything. Imagine being the one in the room who sees 10 moves ahead in business negotiations. Imagine being the one who reads a person's behavior instantly and understands what they are not saying. Imagine predicting market shifts because you studied not just trends, but the psychology of crowds. This is not fantasy. This is the natural result of intellectual ascension. By learning, applying, refining, and leveraging knowledge, you turn it into power others cannot match. The unrecognizable version of you will not simply know things. You will know how to use things. And that difference is what separates leaders from spectators. The exile of shallow thinking. The masses live in shallow waters. Their conversations rarely rise above entertainment, politics, gossip, or complaints. Depth terrifies them. Silence terrifies them. Complexity terrifies them. To ascend intellectually, you must exile shallow thinking from your life. Train your mind to go deeper into the roots, the principles, the hidden causes. When others stop at the surface, you must dive into the depths. This will separate you. Some will mock you. Some will avoid you. But by 2026, the same people who laughed at your depth will come begging for your insight. Depth is lonely at first. Later, it is royal. The sanctuary of solitude. Great minds are not built in crowds. they are built in solitude. Your intellectual reinvention will require hours alone with your thoughts, journaling, reflecting, strategizing. In solitude, your ideas will breathe. In silence, your creativity will awaken. Without solitude, your mind will never transcend the noise of the world. The average person cannot sit alone in a room for 30 minutes without distraction. The extraordinary person turns solitude into a throne room. By 2026, you must learn to love silence so much that it becomes your power source. Because in silence, you will not only think, you will hear the whispers of brilliance that the noisy world can never hear. The shadow of ignorance. And yet, here is the paradox. The higher you climb intellectually, the more you must embrace your ignorance. The arrogant man fills his chest with pride at knowing a little. The wise man bows his head at the infinite sea of what he does not know. Your reinvention will demand humility, the recognition that every book you read reveals 1,000 more, that every insight you gain uncovers 10 mysteries deeper still. This humility will keep you sharp. It will prevent you from becoming a parrot of your own past insights. It will keep your mind alive. The greatest danger to your ascension is not stupidity. It is arrogance. Do not let knowledge make you a prison. Let it make you a pathway. The unrecognizable mind. Picture yourself in 2026. Your speech is sharper, your presence heavier, your insights cut through confusion like blades. People pause when you speak, not because you shout, but because your words carry weight. You will not just be informed, you will be transformative. You will think at levels others cannot even see. And when they encounter you, they will feel it instantly. This is not the person they once knew. Your old self, the one addicted to distraction, trapped in shallow thinking, echoing borrowed ideas, will be gone. In its place will stand a mind that cannot be ignored. The furnace of creativity. Intelligence without creativity is a machine without fire. Facts and logic give you structure, but creativity gives you life. To be unrecognizable, your intellect must not only understand, it must imagine. Creativity is not some mystical talent given to a chosen few. It is a discipline. It is the practice of connecting ideas from different realms and forging something new. The creative mind sees what no one else notices because it refuses to stay within the lines of conventional thought. Look at every revolutionary thinker in history: Tesla, Jobs, Musk, Curie, Da Vinci. They did not merely collect knowledge, they fused disciplines. Art with science, business with psychology, technology with philosophy. Their greatness came from the ability to take unrelated dots and connect them into patterns that transformed the world. By 2026, your creativity must no longer be dormant. Feed it by exploring widely. Study outside your domain. If you are in finance, read poetry. If you are in design, study physics. If you are in technology, explore philosophy. Cross-pollinate. Let disciplines collide within you. The unrecognizable mind is not narrow. It is an orchestra of fields playing in harmony. Memory as a weapon. Most people's memory is fragile, not because their brains are weak, but because they never train it. They consume endlessly without retaining. They listen without remembering. They read without absorbing. To ascend intellectually, you must master your memory. Techniques exist, ancient and modern, that can make your recall razor sharp. The method of loci, visualization, chunking, and association can transform how much you retain. Imagine walking into a meeting and recalling every person's name in detail. Imagine quoting a book you read 5 years ago as if you had finished it yesterday. Imagine holding hundreds of mental models in your head and summoning them at will. This is not science fiction. It is training. Your memory must become your arsenal. By 2026, you should be able to carry entire systems of knowledge in your mind, ready to deploy like weapons. The discipline of focus. The modern world has declared war on your attention. Notifications, entertainment, dopamine loops, endless distractions, they are not accidents. They are engineered traps. To ascend, you must reclaim your focus as your greatest currency. Without focus, no intellect survives. Without focus, creativity cannot spark, memory cannot anchor, and thought cannot deepen. Discipline your environment. Remove distractions. Train your mind in deep work, periods where you lose yourself fully in one pursuit, one study, one creation. At first, it will feel like agony. Your restless mind will resist. But within weeks, your focus will sharpen into a superpower. By 2026, when others drown in endless scrolling, you will be capable of hours of uninterrupted thought. That alone will make you unrecognizable. The mind as a magnet. A sharp intellect does not only benefit you, it magnetizes others. People are drawn to those who see what they cannot. A room gravitates toward clarity. In a conversation, the one who articulates hidden truths becomes the leader, even without title or authority. By sharpening your intellect, you will notice a shift. People will seek your counsel. Opportunities will present themselves, not because of luck, but because of attraction. Influence flows to those who think at higher levels. Do not chase the spotlight. Build your mind until the spotlight finds you. The integration of knowledge and character. But beware, intellect without character becomes arrogance. Knowledge without wisdom becomes manipulation. To be truly unrecognizable, your intellectual growth must integrate with your humanity. Wisdom is knowledge fused with compassion. Power without conscience corrupts, but power with vision transforms. As you rise intellectually, tether your growth to values that elevate not only you but those around you. By 2026, your mind must not only be sharp, but also trusted. People must not only respect your intelligence, but also feel safe in your presence. That combination, clarity and integrity, is unstoppable. The rituals of the unrecognizable mind. To ensure your intellectual ascension is not theory but transformation, you must anchor it in rituals. Habits that sharpen daily. Practices that refine endlessly. Some of these may include daily reading, 1 hour minimum, no exceptions. Books that challenge, not comfort. Active journaling, not just recording events, but wrestling with ideas, dissecting experiences, extracting lessons. Strategic conversations, weekly discussions with those who stretch your thinking, not those who drain it. Mental fasting, hours with no input at all. No phone, no book, no distraction, only thinking, only creating. Socratic questioning, daily interrogation of your assumptions. What if the opposite is true? These rituals are the chisels that carve the marble of your mind. Over time, they will shape you into something unrecognizable. The dawn of mental sovereignty. The goal of intellectual ascension is not to win debates, not to appear intelligent, not to be admired. The goal is sovereignty, the ability to think freely, independently, and powerfully beyond manipulation. The average person is ruled by propaganda, trends, authority, and mass opinion. The ascended mind rules itself. It analyzes, filters, questions, and decides. It bows to no one's thought but its own. By 2026, this sovereignty will make you untouchable. You will no longer be swayed by fear-mongering, manipulation, or the illusions of the herd. You will think as few dare to think. You will see as few dare to see. The transformation complete. Close your eyes and picture the version of yourself that walks into 2026. Your mind is alive with ideas that stretch across disciplines. Your memory is sharp, your focus unbreakable, your insights magnetic. Your words carry weight. Your presence shifts conversations. People sense instantly, this is not the person they once knew. You are no longer a consumer of noise, you are a producer of clarity. No longer a follower of ideas, you are a creator of them. No longer a thinker among millions, you are a mind that cannot be ignored. This is the intellectual metamorphosis. This is the second pillar of becoming unrecognizable. The old you, the distracted, shallow, easily manipulated version, will not survive the journey. In its place will stand a sovereign intellect, creative, powerful, and undeniable. And when the world sees you in 2026, they will not just see a new body, or a new lifestyle, or a new fortune. They will see a new mind, one that glows with fire and clarity. Chapter 3, Physical Reinvention, Sculpting a Body That Commands Respect. The silent language of the body. Long before you speak, your body has already declared who you are. The way you walk into a room, the way your shoulders carry weight, the way your eyes hold or avoid contact. Every motion, every posture, every ounce of muscle or neglect whispers a truth about you. In a world obsessed with digital avatars and online profiles, people forget the primal reality. Your body is your most ancient, unavoidable identity. Before money, before intellect, before status, the body is the first measure of power, and whether people admit it or not, they judge you by it. To become unrecognizable by 2026, your body cannot remain ordinary. It cannot be weak, sluggish, or undefined. It must radiate presence. It must project strength, discipline, and vitality. It must carry a silent authority that demands respect before a single word leaves your lips. Why the body matters more than ever. The modern world has betrayed the body. Convenience has turned us soft. Technology has made us still. Abundance has made us gluttonous. People spend more time scrolling than moving, more time consuming than building. This is why strong bodies have become rare, and rarity always commands value. When you sculpt your body, you are not only changing muscles, you are changing perception. People treat you differently. Doors open. Authority is granted. Not because of vanity, but because your body silently communicates discipline and resilience. It tells the world, here is someone who masters themselves. By 2026, while others continue down the path of deterioration, your transformation will be so stark that those who once dismissed you will have to reintroduce themselves. The warrior's blueprint. The goal is not merely fitness. Fitness is vague. Fitness is about surviving. Your goal is mastery. You are sculpting a body that commands respect, that fuels your ambitions, that reflects the greatness you are building in every other dimension. This requires 3 elements: strength, vitality, and presence. Strength is the raw ability to move weight, to endure strain, to carry burdens without faltering. It is not about size, it is about power. Vitality is energy, the ability to wake up charged, to work relentlessly, to recover quickly. Without vitality, strength is hollow. Presence is how your body shows. The posture, the stance, the symmetry, the aura. It is what makes others sense your dominance without understanding why. Every training session, every meal, every recovery protocol must serve these 3 goals. Discipline carved in iron. Transformation is not found in a single workout. It is not found in a 30-day challenge or a temporary sprint of motivation. It is forged through relentless repetition. The barbell, the pull-up bar, the track, these are not hobbies, they are temples. Discipline will hurt. The mornings will come when your body resists, when fatigue whispers excuses, when the bed feels heavier than any weight you could lift. But those are the moments that sculpt not only muscle, but identity. Every rep is a declaration. I am not who I was. I am building something unrecognizable. Fuel for the machine. Your body is not only shaped in the gym, but at the table. Nutrition is not a side note. It is the foundation. By 2026, you cannot afford the diet of the average person, the processed, the sugary, the excessive. That food is engineered to weaken you, to addict you, to dull your edge. You must eat with intention. Protein to rebuild. Fats to fuel the brain. Carbohydrates to power performance, but not enslave you. Hydration to keep your blood flowing like rivers of energy. Whole foods, clean ingredients, strategic fasting. This is not about restriction, it is about precision. Every bite is a tool. Every meal is a weapon. And when used correctly, your body becomes a masterpiece. The sleep of the elite. Many chase transformation but sabotage themselves in the quiet hours of the night. Sleep is treated as weakness, as optional, as negotiable. But sleep is where the body repairs, where hormones align, where muscles grow, where focus resets. By 2026, your sleep must be sacred. No blue light distractions stealing your rest. No late night indulgences draining your vitality. You must treat sleep as an elite ritual, an unbreakable appointment with your future self. 8 hours of strategic, deep rest will do more for your transformation than 100 supplements. Posture is power. You may not realize it, but posture alone communicates volumes. Rounded shoulders, slouched spine, dragging steps, these whisper defeat. But upright stance, square shoulders, steady eye contact, these roar power. When you fix your posture, you don't only look taller, you feel taller. You breathe deeper, you think sharper. You carry yourself as someone not to be overlooked. Practice walking into every room as if you own it. Not arrogance, certainty. Your physical reinvention is not only about the gym. It is about how you occupy space, how you project yourself, how you carry the weight of your destiny. The body as a daily statement. Every glance in the mirror, every handshake, every step you take becomes a reminder, this is not the old me. The transformation is undeniable, not just in aesthetics, but in aura. People will notice before you speak. They will sense it in the way your presence alters the air. This is the body that carries your wealth. This is the body that defends your mind. This is the body that withstands storms. Without it, all else crumbles. With it, you become unstoppable. From survival to supremacy. By 2026, your physical reinvention will mark a turning point. The weak will shrink into the background, lost in comfort and lethargy. But you, disciplined, relentless, alive, will rise to the front. Your body will no longer be a burden. It will be a weapon. It will no longer betray you. It will declare you. You will walk into 2026 not only with wealth, intellect, and vision, but with the unmistakable presence of someone who has mastered their flesh. And when the world sees you, they will realize that this is not the same person they once knew. This is someone unrecognizable. Building strength is only the beginning. Anyone can lift weights. Anyone can run a few miles. But to stand apart, to embody a body that commands respect, you must pursue athleticism. Athleticism is the ability to move with power, speed, agility, and grace. It is a reminder that the human body is not a statue, but a weapon. Muscles without movement are ornamental. Muscles forged for function are unstoppable. You must sprint, jump, climb, push, pull, twist, and bend. Train not only for aesthetics, but for performance. When your body can run fast, lift heavy, react quickly, and endure endlessly, you radiate a confidence others cannot fake. People may not know why you feel different, but they will sense it. This body is capable of things mine is not. By 2026, the gap between the athletic and the average will be night and day. You must be on the side of the extraordinary. The ritual of recovery. Too many obsess over training while neglecting recovery. But growth does not happen in the gym. It happens in the hours after, when the body repairs itself. To become unrecognizable, you must treat recovery as a sacred ritual. Mobility work. Joints are the weak links of the body. Daily mobility training ensures you move like a predator, not a machine rusting from neglect. Breath work. Oxygen is the forgotten nutrient. Deep, controlled breathing restores energy, balances the nervous system, and amplifies endurance. Cold and heat therapy, ice baths, saunas, contrast showers, tools to reduce inflammation, boost circulation, and sharpen resilience. Strategic rest, not laziness, but precision, knowing when to push and when to let the body rebuild itself into something stronger. If you recover like the elite, you will progress like the elite. Your body will not only endure stress, it will thrive under it. Aesthetics, the psychology of symmetry. Humans are wired to notice balance, proportion, symmetry. A sculpted body is not just muscle, it is architecture. Wide shoulders, strong chest, defined core, balanced legs, all flowing in proportion. This is not vanity, it is psychology. A body in balance communicates health, vitality, and strength at a primal level. People trust, respect, and even admire those who appear physically superior. It is an ancient bias, one you can wield to your advantage. By 2026, while others chase cheap tricks and quick fixes, your dedication to symmetry will set you apart. Your body will not only feel strong, it will look like the physical embodiment of discipline. Energy as a weapon. It is not enough to look strong. You must radiate energy. How many people do you know who appear fit but are constantly tired, drained, or sluggish? This is not mastery. Mastery is having energy that flows like electricity, fueling you from dawn until night. Your rituals must center around energy. Hydration before caffeine. Morning movement to ignite metabolism. Nutrient-dense meals that fuel performance, not addiction. Sunlight, grounding, connection with nature to recharge naturally. Energy is contagious. When people feel your presence, they should sense that you are alive at a level they are not. That is what makes them pause and wonder, what changed in him? The discipline of restraint. True mastery is not only about what you do, but also what you refuse. You must abstain from the poisons that weaken the masses. Junk food that sedates the body. Excess alcohol that poisons discipline. Screen addiction that keeps you sitting, scrolling, wasting life. Comfort that breeds stagnation. When you practice restraint, you gain clarity. You rise above the noise. By 2026, your body will not only be sharper because of what you built, but also because of what you refused. Daily presence-building rituals. Your body is a daily project, and presence is not reserved for the gym. It is practiced in the smallest of habits. Morning posture reset. Stand tall, shoulders back, chest open, head high. Begin every day commanding space. Movement breaks. Every hour, rise. Stretch. Walk. Reclaim dominance over stillness. Eye contact training. Hold eye contact a little longer than is comfortable. Pair it with posture, and your presence multiplies. Deliberate walking. Walk with intention, as if every step has purpose. The world notices. These micro-practices reinforce the identity you are building, someone unshakable, someone who is becoming. The silent transformation. By the time 2026 arrives, the transformation will be undeniable. Not because you announced it, not because you posted about it, but because the world will see it in the way you stand, the way you move, the way your body radiates strength and discipline. You will no longer be the person who struggled with lethargy, insecurity, or neglect. That version of you will be gone, replaced with someone carved from discipline, fueled by vitality, and commanding respect with nothing more than presence. This is what it means to be physically unrecognizable. And when you pair it with financial dominance, intellectual sharpness, and mental fortitude, the world will not only notice, the world will never forget. Chapter 4. Mental Reinvention, Reprogramming Your Inner World. The battlefield of the mind. Every war you fight, financial, physical, intellectual, social, begins in one place, your mind. It is the control center of your existence, the lens through which you experience reality, the governor that either restricts or expands what you can achieve. The tragedy of most people is that they live with an outdated operating system. Their minds are programmed by childhood conditioning, social expectations, cultural narratives, and personal fears. They are imprisoned by thought patterns they didn't even choose, and they wonder why they cannot break free. If you want to become unrecognizable by 2026, you must not only build your body and bank account, you must reprogram your mind. Without this, transformation crumbles. With it, you become unstoppable. The lie of limitation. Every belief you hold is either a door or a cage. When you believe you can't, when you assume this is just how life is, when you repeat stories of lack or struggle, you have already lost the battle before it begins. Limiting beliefs are viruses of the mind. They spread silently, disguised as facts. I'm not good enough. Success is for others. I don't have time. I don't deserve more. each of these a prison bar forged by thought. But the truth is this: limitations are rarely real. They are perceptions, illusions repeated until they harden into beliefs. Break those beliefs and the walls fall. Your capacity expands instantly. By 2026, you must not only challenge every limiting belief, you must eradicate them, replacing them with thoughts that serve you, thoughts that weaponize your mind. The power of inner language. The words you speak internally are the scripts of your destiny. Every thought is a command to the subconscious. Every affirmation, every doubt, every whispered insult or encouragement writes your identity in real time. When you say "I can't," your mind obeys. When you say "I will," your mind creates paths. When you say "I am becoming unstoppable," your body aligns with that truth. Reprogramming the mind begins with language. You must monitor the way you speak to yourself as if your life depends on it, because it does. By 2026, your inner language must be so precise, so empowering that it leaves no space for weakness. The architecture of focus. In the modern age, distraction is the new poverty. Social media, notifications, endless entertainment. The average person cannot focus for more than a few minutes without breaking. And this is why they fail. Focus is wealth. Focus is freedom. Focus is power. If you can train your mind to direct itself toward one task for hours without wavering, you will accomplish more in a year than most achieve in a decade. To build focus, you must practice it like a muscle. Remove digital noise. Work in deep, uninterrupted blocks. Train mindfulness and meditation to command your attention. Strengthen your ability to delay gratification. The mind that focuses wins. The mind that wanders loses. By 2026, your mastery of focus will make you unrecognizable to the scattered version of yourself that once struggled to complete even the simplest tasks. Embracing the identity shift. Mental reinvention is not about positive thinking alone, it is about identity. Your mind clings to who you believe you are. If you see yourself as weak, broke, unworthy, that identity drags you back no matter what action you take. The solution is to adopt a new identity now, before the evidence exists. If you begin living as the person you are becoming, your actions will align and your reality will follow. Do not say "I want to be disciplined." Say "I am disciplined." Do not say "I hope to be wealthy." Say "I am a wealth creator." Do not say "I'm trying to change." Say "I am transformed." When the mind believes, the body obeys, the actions align, and the world bends to your will. The fire of mental resilience. No reinvention is free from pain. Obstacles will rise. Failures will sting. Setbacks will tempt you to quit. Most people fold under pressure because their minds are fragile. But not you. By 2026, your mind must be trained to see struggle not as suffering, but as sharpening. Every failure is a forge. Every obstacle is a test. Every rejection is a redirection. Resilience is not the absence of pain. It is the refusal to be broken by it. Train your mind daily to see adversity as an ally, and nothing can stop you. From prisoner to master. Right now, you may not realize how many invisible chains bind your thinking. But by 2026, you will have shattered them all. You will no longer be a prisoner of doubt, fear, or distraction. You will be a master of thought, focus, and resilience. Your inner language will command power. Your beliefs will fuel action. Your mind will no longer betray you. It will propel you. This is the mental reinvention that makes you unrecognizable. When the world sees you, they won't just notice your body, your wealth, or your presence. They'll sense the fire in your mind, the unshakable certainty of someone who has rewritten their inner world. Emotional mastery, the highest form of discipline. Most people are not ruled by logic. They are ruled by emotion. Anger, fear, jealousy, insecurity, these feelings dictate their actions, destroy relationships, sabotage opportunities, and keep them trapped in cycles of regret. If you want to be unrecognizable, you must master emotion, not by suppressing it, but by directing it. Anger becomes power when funneled into relentless action. Fear becomes clarity when reframed as a signal of growth. Sadness becomes wisdom when mined for lessons. Excitement becomes focus when grounded into strategy. Emotional regulation is not about becoming robotic. It's about becoming the master of your internal weather. The world cannot shake a man who controls his storm. By 2026, your ability to regulate emotion will make you unshakable. The power of visualization. The mind cannot distinguish between vividly imagined reality and lived experience. This is why athletes rehearse victories in their heads, why visionaries see futures long before they exist. Visualization is mental programming. When you see yourself executing flawlessly, succeeding, thriving, you carve neural pathways that make those actions easier in reality. Daily, you must visualize. Waking up disciplined. Executing your routines flawlessly. Crushing goals with calm intensity. Living the exact life you are building by 2026. The more vividly you see it, the more your subconscious accepts it as truth. And once the subconscious believes, the conscious follows. Mental toughness rituals. Mental reinvention demands that you train discomfort the way others train comfort. Weak minds seek easy paths. Strong minds seek resistance, knowing it is resistance that builds strength. Your rituals must include cold exposure, ice baths, cold showers, training your nervous system to stay calm under stress. Controlled fasting, teaching your body and mind discipline over cravings. Extended silence, hours with no stimulation, sharpening thought and inner dialogue. Physical challenges, workouts that push you beyond comfort, forging grit. Each ritual is a reminder, I am in control, not my impulses. By 2026, your tolerance for discomfort will make you unrecognizable to the old version of you who once sought ease. The detachment principle. Attachment is the root of suffering. You cling to opinions, outcomes, approval, comfort, and in doing so, you weaken your mind. Detachment is not apathy. It is power. It means you execute with intensity but remain free from the need for validation. It means you pursue goals ruthlessly but do not crumble if the path shifts. It means you love deeply but remain centered if others leave. When you master detachment, you are untouchable. No insult shakes you. No rejection defines you. No failure paralyzes you. You remain rooted in yourself. By 2026, detachment must be your default state. You will act with power, but never from desperation. The discipline of thought fasting. Just as the body is poisoned by junk food, the mind is poisoned by junk input. News cycles, gossip, low-value conversations, shallow content, they clutter thought, weaken focus, and drain energy. You must practice thought fasting, periods where you consume nothing external, allowing the mind to reset. During these windows, you reflect, strategize, create. You feed your mind only with material that elevates. This selective input will make your thinking rare. While others drown in noise, your clarity will cut through like a blade. The identity lock. To make mental reinvention permanent, you must lock in your new identity. You are no longer trying to become disciplined, wealthy, focused. You are disciplined. You are wealthy in mindset. You are unbreakable in focus. When challenges arise, do not ask, can I handle this? Instead, affirm, this is natural for me. By repeating this, by living this daily, you hardwire your new identity until it becomes non-negotiable. By 2026, your mind will not even recognize the old version of you. It will feel like someone else entirely. The silent aura of a reinvented mind. When you master your mind, people notice even when you say nothing. Your presence becomes calm yet commanding. Your words carry weight. Your decisions are deliberate. You radiate control in a world addicted to chaos. This is the aura of someone mentally reinvented, and it cannot be faked. By 2026, when you walk into a room, you will not need to announce yourself. Your presence will announce you. Your silence will carry more power than most people's noise. From chaos to command, the undisciplined mind lives in chaos. The reinvented mind lives in command. And that is what you are building now. When your emotions obey you, when your focus is unshakable, when your identity is solid, when your presence radiates power, you are no longer a product of the past. You are a force of the future. This is mental reinvention. This is becoming unrecognizable. Chapter 5, Social Reinvention, the Power of Network and Influence, the Hidden Architecture of Social Gravity. No empire is built alone. No transformation thrives in isolation. Your social world, your friends, mentors, peers, and even enemies shapes your trajectory far more than raw talent or ambition. Right now, whether you realize it or not, you are being pulled by the gravity of your circle. If your circle is weak, stagnant, toxic, or small-minded, you are chained to their level. You may sprint forward, but their weight will drag you back. By 2026, if you want to become unrecognizable, you must break free from social gravity. You must rise into new networks that pull you higher, force you to grow, and open doors you could never unlock alone. The audit. Who deserves a seat at your table? Social reinvention begins with an audit. Look at every person in your life and ask, do they multiply me or do they drain me? Do they encourage growth or do they ridicule ambition? Do they provide value or only consume it? Do they challenge me to rise or enable me to stay small? Do they hold me accountable or let me sabotage myself? This is not about coldness. It is about clarity. By 2026, your table must be filled only with those who sharpen you. Everyone else must be loved from a distance. Because here's the truth. Proximity is power. Who you allow closest determines whether you become legendary or remain ordinary. The art of strategic association. Social reinvention is not just about cutting the wrong people. It is about intentionally connecting with the right ones. You must cultivate strategic associations, mentors, allies, collaborators, peers who are already living at the level you aspire to. Their energy will recalibrate yours. Their habits will rub off. Their insights will save you years of wasted effort. To do this, you must show up in the right rooms, conferences, masterminds, events. Add value before asking for it. Serve, contribute, elevate. Become magnetic by mastering your presence so people want to be around you. By 2026, your circle will not just reflect your goals, it will accelerate them. The currency of value. People are drawn not to neediness but to value. If you want to attract high-level connections, you must ask yourself, what do I bring to the table? Your skills, your discipline, your knowledge, your energy, these are currencies. The more you refine yourself, the more valuable you become to powerful people. And here's the paradox. When you focus on becoming valuable, opportunities chase you. You no longer need to beg for connection. People will seek you out. By 2026, you must be so full of value, financially, intellectually, emotionally, that your presence itself is an asset. Mastering the law of social leverage. One powerful connection can change the trajectory of your life forever. A mentor's insight, a partner's collaboration, a supporter's introduction, each can leapfrog you years ahead. This is why you must not only expand your network, but learn to leverage it with precision. Cultivate relationships over time, not transactionally. Be the bridge, introduce others, and they will introduce you. Protect your reputation ruthlessly. Trust is the ultimate currency. Social leverage is about playing the long game. While others chase clout, you build alliances that last decades. Presence, the silent social weapon. Before you even speak, people read you. your posture, your energy, your aura. They decide whether to respect you, dismiss you, or admire you. Presence is the silent weapon of influence, and it is built through confidence in your body, physical reinvention; clarity in your mind, mental reinvention; certainty in your speech, intellectual reinvention. When these layers align, you enter a room and people feel it. They lean in before you said a word. By 2026, your presence alone must command attention. The shift from social consumer to social architect. Most people consume their social world passively. They accept whoever drifts into their orbit, never questioning the cost. You cannot afford this. You must become a social architect, designing your environment with precision. Every connection, every conversation, every alliance is chosen deliberately. By 2026, your social world will not be an accident. It will be a weapon, a force that multiplies every other pillar of your reinvention. Influence, the hidden currency of the social world. Wealth opens doors, but influence keeps them open. Influence is the ability to shift the thoughts, actions, and beliefs of others without force. When you master it, people follow you willingly, even eagerly. Influence is built through three foundations. 1. Trust. People must believe in your integrity. 2. Competence. People must respect your ability. 3. Presence. People must feel your energy when you walk into the room. Without these three, you may be heard but never followed. With them, you will magnetize loyalty, opportunity, and power by 2026. The mechanics of charisma. Charisma is often seen as something mysterious, but it is simply the ability to make others feel seen, valued, and energized in your presence. You build charisma through eye contact that conveys certainty, listening with intensity so people feel understood, speaking with deliberate cadence, slow, calm, unhurried, using silence strategically, not rushing to fill every gap, letting your words breathe. Energy management, bringing vitality into rooms without being chaotic. Charisma is not about being loud or flamboyant. It is about resonance. When people leave your presence, they should feel elevated, not drained. By 2026, your charisma will be engineered, not accidental. Power positioning, the architecture of status. The world operates in hierarchies. Whether in business, friendships, or communities, people naturally seek leadership, authority, and anchors. You must position yourself as a pillar of strength in any social environment. This means control your narrative. Never allow gossip, confusion, or contradiction about who you are. Be scarce with access. The more available you are, the less valuable you seem. Demonstrate results, not promises. People respect visible outcomes, not talk. Move with calm certainty. Leaders radiate steadiness when others panic. By 2026, you must occupy a position where people see you as indispensable, a figure whose presence elevates the whole group. The strategic use of silence and distance. Social reinvention also requires restraint. Influence is not only in what you say, but in what you withhold. Silence creates mystery. People project power onto those who don't rush to explain themselves. Distance builds demand. When you are not always available, your presence becomes more valuable. Restraint signals control. Overexposure signals desperation. Selective exposure signals strength. By 2026, your ability to use silence and distance will distinguish you from those who scatter their energy everywhere. The inner circle principle. Not everyone deserves full access to you. In fact, your reinvention requires layers of proximity. Outer circle, acquaintances, general network. Middle circle, peers, collaborators, people of mutual value. Inner circle, the elite few who share your vision, challenge you, and guard your blind spots. The inner circle is sacred. It must be chosen with ruthless precision. These are the people you can trust with strategy, vulnerability, and your highest ambitions. By 2026, your inner circle will be your fortress. And a fortress is not built casually. It is engineered brick by brick. Social detachment, the shield against manipulation. The higher you rise, the more people will attempt to manipulate, flatter, or guilt you into serving their interests. Social detachment protects you. It means you can enjoy compliments without being addicted to them. You can hear criticism without being destroyed by it. You can walk away from anyone, even those you care for deeply, if they threaten your path. By 2026, your detachment will make you socially invulnerable. You will engage deeply but never be enslaved by validation or approval. Your social legacy. At the end of this reinvention, your social world will look unrecognizable. You will no longer be surrounded by small minds, petty drama, or dead weight. Instead, you will be surrounded by visionaries, allies, and power players who sharpen you daily. And here's the most powerful part. You won't just be in circles of influence, you will become a center of gravity yourself. People will gather around you for guidance, strength, and leadership. That is social reinvention. By 2026, your relationships will not just reflect your new identity, they will amplify it. Chapter 6, Spiritual Reinvention, Awakening the Higher Self, the Forgotten Dimension of Power. We live in an age obsessed with the visible: money, possessions, bodies, accolades. But the invisible, the spiritual, is what governs the visible. Ignore it, and every achievement feels hollow. Align with it, and everything you touch becomes infused with purpose, peace, and power. Spiritual reinvention does not necessarily mean religion. It means alignment with truth, with principles, with a higher order that governs life. It means becoming someone who cannot be shaken no matter the storm. By 2026, your spiritual foundation must be unrecognizable, rooted so deeply in strength and clarity that nothing external can break it. The inner war, ego versus essence. The greatest battle you will fight on your spiritual journey is not with the world, but with yourself. The ego seeks recognition, comfort, and control. The essence, the higher self, seeks truth, growth, and contribution. The ego whispers, "You are what you own." The essence counters, "You are what you give." The ego fears loss. The essence knows abundance is infinite. Spiritual reinvention is not about killing the ego, but mastering it. You put it in its place, useful as a servant, destructive as a master. The discipline of stillness. In the noise of the world, silence is a weapon. Most people cannot sit still for even 10 minutes without reaching for a screen, a distraction, or stimulation. But stillness is where the higher self speaks. Practicing stillness could look like meditation, breathing, mantra, or silent observation. Daily prayer or gratitude rituals. Walking in nature without devices. Journaling with brutal honesty. The goal is not escape, but clarity. To hear the whispers beneath the noise. By 2026, your stillness practice must be so consistent that chaos no longer controls you. The frequency principle. Every thought, every word, every emotion carries a frequency. Negativity lowers it, anger, envy, greed. Positivity elevates it, gratitude, love, generosity. Spiritual reinvention is about raising your frequency intentionally. Through the words you speak, life-giving, not draining. Through the emotions you feed, gratitude over resentment. Through the company you keep, high-frequency people. When your frequency is elevated, opportunities, people, and experiences align with you effortlessly. You stop chasing and begin attracting. Sacrifice and surrender. Spiritual power comes not from grasping, but from letting go. You must surrender certain illusions. The illusion of control. The illusion of permanence. The illusion of separation from others. Sacrifice is also key. Every spiritual leap requires you to give up something lesser for something greater: time, habits, even identities. By 2026, the version of you that is reborn will not be someone who clings, but someone who flows. Spiritual strength in adversity. The true test of spiritual reinvention is not when life is smooth, but when it is brutal. Loss, betrayal, setbacks, these are inevitable. But with spiritual strength, you bend without breaking. You see failure as redirection. You see pain as initiation. You see endings as beginnings. Spiritual resilience turns every wound into wisdom, every scar into strength. By 2026, adversity will no longer define you. It will refine you. The path of inner alignment. When your spiritual life is aligned, everything else synchronizes. Your finances serve purpose, not vanity. Your intellect seeks wisdom, not ego boosts. Your body becomes a temple, not an idol. Your mind becomes a servant of peace, not fear. Your social world becomes a circle of light, not noise. Spiritual reinvention is the binding thread. It does not compete with the other pillars. It fuels them. By 2026, the power that moves through you will not be just your own. It will be the force of something greater, something infinite. Energy transmutation, turning struggle into power. Every emotion is energy. Most people waste it. Anger becomes destruction, lust becomes addiction, fear becomes paralysis. But the spiritually reinvented person learns to transmute, to redirect the raw fuel of lower emotions into higher achievements. Anger action, using it to drive progress instead of revenge. Fear focus, turning nervousness into preparation. Lust creation, harnessing desire into discipline, art, or innovation. Pain wisdom, transforming suffering into guidance for others. By 2026, you must be an alchemist of your inner world. Nothing within you is wasted. Everything is fuel. Spiritual authority, walking as one who knows. Authority is not claimed, it is recognized. When someone carries spiritual authority, people feel it instantly. It radiates from them, not because they shout it, but because they embody it. How to cultivate it. Consistency in your practices. People respect what is anchored, not what fluctuates. Embodiment of your values. You do not speak of discipline, you live it. Unshakable calm. The world bends when you don't. Alignment between word and action. Your integrity is airtight. By 2026, spiritual authority will make you magnetic. You won't chase opportunities. People, wealth, and alliances will chase you. Rituals of alignment. Rituals are anchors that keep your spirit centered in a chaotic world. Without rituals, even strong people drift. With them, you remain untouchable. Examples of alignment rituals. Morning grounding, meditation, prayer, or visualization before touching your phone. Night reflection, reviewing your day, offering gratitude, and releasing regrets. Weekly solitude, time alone to recalibrate without noise, distractions, or obligations. Sacred consumption, reading, listening, and feeding your mind with higher wisdom, not junk. By 2026, your rituals will be so embedded that skipping them feels unnatural, like skipping breath. Living in divine timing. Spiritual reinvention teaches you to stop forcing everything. Life has rhythms, windows that open and close. The reinvented individual knows how to sense when to push, when to pause, when to leap, and when to wait. Signs of divine timing. Opportunities appear effortlessly. Resistance melts away where once it was constant. The right people arrive when you are ready, not when you demand it. To align with timing, you must sharpen intuition. Intuition grows when you honor it, when you listen to the subtle nudges instead of silencing them with logic or fear. By 2026, divine timing will be your ally, saving you years of wasted struggle. Unstoppable purpose, becoming a force of nature. Purpose is the spiritual engine behind reinvention. Without it, even success feels shallow. Purpose is not found. It is forged by aligning your gifts with the needs of the world. Ask yourself, what is the fire that keeps pulling me forward? What pain in others am I uniquely built to heal? What do I create, build, or embody that no one else can in the way I do? When you live in purpose, discipline is no longer forced. It flows. Work becomes worship. Obstacles become confirmation that you are on the right path. By 2026, you must not just know your purpose. You must embody it so fully that people feel it when you walk into the room. The radiance of the reinvented spirit. When your spirit is reinvented, you no longer walk, you glow. People sense something different, though they can't always explain it. You move with calm certainty, you speak with clarity, and you carry a peace that unsettles chaos. This is the power that ties all reinvention together. Financial abundance without greed, intellectual brilliance without arrogance, physical strength without vanity, mental clarity without obsession, social power without manipulation. By 2026, you will not just be successful, you will be whole. And wholeness is the rarest, most magnetic power in existence. Chapter 7, The Reinvented Environment, Sculpting the World Around You. Why environment is stronger than willpower. Most people fail at transformation not because they lack discipline, but because their environment keeps pulling them back. Willpower is like a muscle, it gets tired. Environment, however, operates silently, influencing your habits without asking for permission. Consider this. If your fridge is full of junk food, it's only a matter of time before you eat it. If your social circle is full of complainers, soon you complain too. If your digital feed is filled with nonsense, your thoughts mirror that noise. Your environment is either your greatest enemy or your most powerful ally. Reinvention before 2026 requires that your environment becomes a machine designed for your evolution. The power of physical spaces. Your home, your workspace, your car, even your closet are reflections of your inner state, and they also reinforce it. To reinvent yourself, you must curate your physical spaces intentionally. Declutter. Every item you don't use or love is mental weight. Strip your environment to essentials and symbols of who you are becoming. Elevate aesthetics. Your surroundings should inspire you. Art, colors, scents, lighting that reflect power, clarity, and abundance. Dedicated zones, a workspace for focus, a rest space for recovery, a training space for physical transformation. No blurred lines. Nature infusion, even in cities, incorporate plants, natural light, or natural textures. The mind sharpens and calms when connected to nature. By 2026, your physical space should feel like stepping inside the future version of yourself. Digital environments, the silent manipulator. Your phone is the most powerful environment you carry. It shapes your thoughts more than your home does. Most people live in digital chaos. Notifications, doom scrolling, comparison, distraction. To reinvent digitally. Unfollow noise. Ruthlessly clear your feed of negativity, gossip, or mediocrity. Fill it with wisdom, inspiration, and mastery. Notifications off. You should choose when to engage, not be yanked around by apps. Curated input. Podcasts, audiobooks, newsletters, and mentors that align with who you are becoming. Digital fasting. Regular breaks from screens to reset your nervous system. By 2026, your digital space will be a temple for focus, not a trap for distraction. Energetic spaces, the invisible architecture. Beyond the physical and digital, there is the energy of a space. Ever walked into a room and instantly felt tension or peace without anyone saying a word? That's energetic environment. How to shape it. Cleanse regularly through order, incense, sage, or simply opening windows and letting air flow. Music and sound. Certain frequencies elevate energy, classical binaural beats, uplifting instrumentals. Intentional gatherings. The people you allow into your space carry energy. Choose wisely. Sacred anchors, objects, books, or symbols that remind you of your highest self. By 2026, your environment's energy should recharge you instantly, not drain you silently. The law of environmental alignment. If you want to become unrecognizable, your environment must not reflect your past, it must reflect your future. If you want to be wealthy, your environment must reflect order, abundance, and intentionality, not chaos. If you want to be fit, your environment must push you toward activity, not temptation. If you want to be spiritually elevated, your environment must hold silence, beauty, and clarity. Your environment is not just background, it is your silent partner in transformation. The law of proximity. One truth governs reinvention. You cannot outgrow the gravitational pull of your closest circle. If you are surrounded by people who normalize mediocrity, you will unconsciously bend toward it. If your circle normalizes excellence, abundance, and growth, you'll stretch upward to match. By 2026, your social environment must reflect the identity you're stepping into, not the one you're leaving behind. Cutting ties with the old identity. Reinvention often requires separation before elevation. This doesn't always mean abandoning people forever, but it does mean protecting your trajectory. Low energy anchors, friends who thrive on gossip, complaining, or stagnation. Enablers of the old self, people who keep reminding you of who you used to be, not who you are becoming. Time drainers, those who demand your energy without reciprocity. It will be uncomfortable, but the moment you release the old circle, space opens for the new, and that space is sacred. Curating the new circle. The reinvented environment is not just about subtraction, it's about deliberate addition. You must build a circle that inspires without envy. They're ahead of you in some areas, and that excites you. Challenges comfort. They call out mediocrity in you because they want more for you. Aligns values. Shared hunger for growth, integrity, and legacy. Multiplies opportunities. They introduce you to new knowledge, networks, and leverage. By 2026, your social circle should feel like a board of directors for your destiny. Networking as spiritual strategy. Networking is not shaking hands and collecting contacts. It's aligning destinies. The people you intentionally connect with shape what becomes possible. Steps to elevate networking. Approach with value first. Instead of asking what they can do for you, bring something they need. Invest in environments. Conferences, masterminds, events where your future peers gather. Consistency builds trust. Show up again and again. Proximity builds familiarity. Mentors and guides. Seek those who have walked your path and offer them respect, discipline, and loyalty in exchange for wisdom. Networking, when done right, is not manipulation, it's magnetism. Accountability structures. Willpower fails, but accountability reinforces destiny. Reinvented individuals build systems so strong they cannot drift backward. Options for accountability. Inner circle contracts. Agreements with peers on goals, deadlines, and standards. Mentor oversight. Regular check-ins with someone further along. Public commitments, declaring certain goals openly to create social pressure. Tracking systems, journals, apps, or boards that visibly show your progress. By 2026, you won't rely on trying harder. You'll be locked into accountability structures that guarantee forward motion. The energy of association. Every person in your life is an energy exchange. Some drain, some maintain, some elevate. The spiritually and socially reinvented individual learns to feel this quickly. Drainers leave you heavy. Maintainers leave you unchanged. Elevators leave you inspired. Your reinvention requires that elevators dominate your circle. By aligning with them, your identity, habits, and results shift automatically. Becoming an elevator yourself. The final layer of social reinvention is not just surrounding yourself with greatness, it's becoming greatness for others. You must speak life into others. Model discipline and clarity. Carry energy that uplifts rooms instead of draining them. Be the reminder of possibility, not the reminder of limitation. When you embody elevation, you don't just join powerful circles, you attract them. The social architecture of 2026, by the time 2026 arrives. Your physical environment reflects abundance and clarity. Your digital environment reflects focus and mastery. Your social environment reflects growth and elevation. Your accountability environment ensures you cannot slip. At that point, reinvention is no longer fragile. It is enforced by the very world you live in. Chapter 8, The Reinvented Mindset, Thinking on a Higher Frequency. The Architecture of Thought. Everything you are today is a product of the way you think. Your financial habits, your health choices, your relationships, all are outcomes of thought patterns repeated over time. If you want to become unrecognizable by 2026, you must think differently, not just act differently. Behavior is surface level, mindset is the root. Without transforming thought, you will relapse into old patterns. The reinvented mindset isn't about motivation. It's about mental architecture, the systems, beliefs, and internal rules that govern your decisions. From survival to creation. Most people live in survival thinking. Worry about bills. Stress about tomorrow. React to circumstances. This is a low-frequency mindset. It chains you to problems instead of possibilities. The reinvented individual shifts to creation thinking. Asking, what can I build? Who can I become? What future can I design? Seeing problems as raw material for solutions. Responding instead of reacting. By 2026, your default must be creation, not survival. Mental diet, guarding the input. Your mind becomes what you feed it. Just as a body built on junk food cannot thrive, a mind built on gossip, fear, and negativity cannot create wealth or power. Upgrade your mental diet by reading daily, not just skimming, but deeply consuming books that stretch your worldview. Long-form wisdom, podcasts, lectures, or courses from those who operate at higher frequencies. Thoughtful silence, time away from noise to allow your mind to integrate. Eliminating trash input, news cycles, low-level entertainment, toxic conversations. By 2026, your mind should feel like a high-performance engine, fueled only by premium input. Reframing reality. The reinvented mindset is not about denying reality, it's about reframing it. Two people can experience the same setback. One sees disaster, the other sees opportunity. To reframe, ask, what is this teaching me? Ask, how can this strengthen me? Ask, where is the hidden advantage? This shift turns every experience, good or bad, into fuel for growth. By 2026, you must become a master reframer. Identity-based thinking. Behavioral change is fragile. Identity-based change is permanent. Instead of saying, I want to save money, you say, I am the kind of person who builds wealth. I want to work out, you say, I am an athlete in training. I want to be disciplined, you say, I am a disciplined person. Your brain works to align actions with identity. By 2026, your inner voice must consistently declare the future you, not the past you. The higher frequency of thought. When you shift into high-frequency thinking, your thoughts align with abundance, resilience, and power. Signs you've elevated include: you solve problems instead of dwelling on them. You spot opportunities where others see obstacles. You feel responsible for your reality instead of blaming circumstances. You envision futures bigger than your current resources. This mindset becomes a magnet for results because your thoughts, actions, and energy synchronize. The discipline of mental resilience. By 2026, you cannot afford a fragile mind. Life will test you with setbacks, delays, betrayal, and resistance. Reinvented individuals don't avoid storms. They become storm-proof. Resilience comes from discipline under pressure. Anticipate turbulence. Expect setbacks so they don't shock you. Shrink recovery time. Average people collapse for weeks. Reinvented minds recover in hours. Anchor to vision. When pain strikes, the question is not why me, but how does this shape the future me? Mental resilience is built like muscle through deliberate exposure, consistent practice, and recovery. Emotional control as power. The most dangerous force in a human life is not failure, it's unmanaged emotion. Anger, fear, jealousy, and doubt can dismantle years of progress in minutes. By 2026, you must master emotions, not suppress them. Suppression leaks, mastery transforms. Practical strategies. Name the emotion. Labeling feelings disarms them. Interrupt the pattern. Step away, breathe, shift posture. Never let a reaction control the outcome. Transmute energy. Anger becomes fuel for the gym, fear becomes preparation, sadness becomes reflection. Default to calm. The rarest currency in chaos is composure. When others panic, your calmness becomes authority. Decision-making frameworks of the reinvented mind. The difference between those who stagnate and those who ascend is their decision speed and quality. Frameworks to adopt. First principles thinking. Break complex problems down to undeniable truths, then rebuild from there. 80-20 rule. Focus on the few actions that yield the majority of results. Reversible versus irreversible decisions. Move fast on reversible ones. Take time only on the irreversible. Future-paced decisions. Don't ask what feels good now. Ask what aligns with my 2026 self. By 2026, your decisions must feel less like guesswork and more like strategy. The power of mental models. Mental models are shortcuts of thought, frameworks that prevent wasted energy. The reinvented mindset collects them like tools. Opportunity cost. Every yes is a no to something else. Compounding small, consistent actions multiply exponentially. Second-order consequences. What happens after the immediate effect? Inversion. Instead of asking how do I succeed, ask how do I fail, and avoid those actions. With a toolkit of mental models, you don't just think harder, you think smarter, faster, and more accurately. The immovable inner core. At the center of a reinvented mindset lies an inner declaration: I am unshakable. This doesn't mean life won't test you. It means no matter what comes, loss, doubt, delay, you remain aligned to your higher self. The 2026 version of you must carry unbreakable clarity. You know who you are and where you're going. Unshakable composure. You are steady in storms. Unstoppable progress. You keep moving when others quit. That is the high frequency of thought. That is the difference between those who collapse under pressure and those who reinvent themselves into legends. Chapter 9, The Reinvented Spirituality, Awakening the Infinite Self. Why spiritual reinvention matters. By 2026, wealth, intellect, and physical strength will mean little if your spirit is hollow. Many powerful people collapse because they rise materially but stay spiritually bankrupt. True reinvention requires alignment with something greater than yourself, whether you name it God, Source, Universe, or Higher Self. This isn't about religion, it's about spiritual grounding. Without it, success feels empty. Discipline feels like punishment. Progress feels fragile. With it, success becomes meaningful. Discipline becomes devotion. Progress becomes inevitable. The forgotten dimension. Society trains us to chase status, money, and validation. Rarely does it train us to connect with the infinite. Yet the most unrecognizable transformations always have a spiritual route. The reinvented spirit knows. You are more than a body, more than thoughts, more than emotions. You are an energy field connected to everything. When aligned, you attract experiences beyond logic. By 2026, you must awaken this forgotten dimension. Spiritual practices for transformation. To awaken your infinite self, practice daily spiritual alignment. Stillness or meditation, silence the mind to hear the deeper voice within. Gratitude rituals, acknowledge abundance daily. It multiplies when noticed. Breath work, using breath to regulate body, mind, and energy. Journaling, reflection, not just thoughts, but conversations with your higher self. Nature immersion, entering natural environments to reset your spirit. These are not rituals of escape. They are rituals of power. Purpose beyond self. The reinvented spirit is not just self-focused. Transformation without contribution becomes narcissism. True reinvention expands outward. Your wealth creates opportunities for others. Your wisdom becomes guidance for others. Your discipline becomes inspiration for others. Purpose makes reinvention unbreakable because you're no longer working only for yourself. You're aligned with a mission bigger than you. The frequency of faith. Faith is not blind belief. It is a higher frequency of thought, a knowing that even if the path is unclear, the destination is certain. To carry faith. Detach from timeline. Trust the process without obsession over when. Detach from method. Trust that the how will reveal itself as long as you keep moving. Anchor in certainty. No matter external chaos, you carry an inner, it is done. Faith is the bridge between the visible and the invisible, the present and the future. By 2026, you must walk across it daily. The shield of spiritual resilience. Just as the body needs strength training and the mind needs resilience training, your spirit requires protection and fortification. Without spiritual resilience, you'll crumble under unseen forces, envy, fear, doubt, and the subtle darkness of the world. To build it. Daily grounding. Start your mornings anchoring into stillness before the world touches you. Energetic boundaries. Recognize when environments or people drain you, then step away or shield yourself. Cleansing rituals, prayer, meditation, breathwork, or silence to reset when heaviness creeps in. Faith under fire, holding trust in higher order even when everything seems against you. A spiritually resilient person becomes untouchable, not because life is easier, but because they are rooted deeper. Energetic mastery. You are not just flesh and bone, you are vibration. Every thought, word, and action carries energy. By 2026, you must learn to master your frequency. How to practice. Energy awareness. Notice how certain foods, music, people, or conversations shift your energy. Raising frequency. Choose environments, habits, and content that elevate, not deplete. Transmitting energy. Speak with power, move with presence, and radiate calm in chaos. Withdrawing energy. Stop feeding attention to what drains you. Problems, drama, negativity. Mastery means no longer being a victim of energy. You consciously generate and direct it. Living as the infinite self. Spiritual awakening is not about escaping life, it's about engaging with it at a higher level. The infinite self does not avoid bills, relationships, or responsibilities. It transforms how they're approached. Examples. Work, no longer just a paycheck, but a vehicle for purpose. Relationships, no longer needy exchanges, but sacred mirrors for growth. Challenges, no longer punishments, but training grounds for evolution. Wealth, no longer an idol, but a tool for impact. Living as the infinite self means bringing your highest consciousness into the smallest actions, how you speak, how you walk, how you treat strangers. Integration rituals. Reinvention fails when spirituality stays theoretical. It must be woven into your daily rhythm. Morning, breathwork plus vision alignment. Midday, pause for gratitude or reflection. Evening, release the day with prayer, journaling, or silence. Weekly, time in nature or community that feeds the spirit. Monthly, reflection on alignment between your actions and your higher self. By 2026, these rhythms should not feel like discipline, but like oxygen. The unrecognizable aura. When you carry spiritual mastery, people feel it before you speak. Your aura becomes unrecognizable compared to the person you once were. Signs of spiritual reinvention. You walk into rooms and shift the atmosphere. You attract aligned people and repel the wrong ones. You feel deeply centered, regardless of circumstances. You operate with calm certainty, as if guided by an invisible hand. This is the mark of the reinvented spirit. It cannot be faked, bought, or imitated. It must be built. Chapter 10, The Unrecognizable Future, Becoming Legendary by 2026. The Convergence Point. Transformation is not about upgrading one area of life while ignoring the rest. True reinvention is holistic convergence. By now, you have learned to reshape. Finances into freedom. Intellect into an ever-expanding arsenal. Body into strength and vitality. Mindset into resilience and clarity. Social network into power and alignment. Spirit into grounding and infinity. But the final test is to synchronize all six into one unified identity. That convergence is what makes you unrecognizable. The multiplication effect. The reason most people plateau is because they improve one area while neglecting the others. You see the wealthy who are spiritually empty, the intellectual who is socially isolated, the physically strong who lack discipline. But when all six rise together, they don't just add, they multiply. Financial wealth gives you freedom to study, train, and give. Intellectual depth allows you to wield money and influence wisely. Physical vitality fuels the mind and spirit. Mental resilience ensures setbacks never derail you. Social mastery opens doors money and intellect can't. Spiritual alignment keeps everything purposeful. This multiplication effect is the engine of the unrecognizable life. Designing the future self. Now, project forward to the version of you in 2026. What does this person look like, dress like, move like? How do they think and speak? What is their financial state, their network, their inner circle? What is their aura, the feeling others get when they enter a room? Your future self is not a fantasy, it's a design, and you design it through conscious, daily choices. The timeline compression principle. Most underestimate how much can change in a short span when all dimensions are aligned. Reinvention does not need a decade. It can unfold in less than 2 years. Why? Because aligned momentum compounds. Focused energy attracts. Exponential growth replaces linear growth. What others accomplish in 10 years, you can compress into 18 months by living as if you were already your future self. The path of the few. Here's the truth. By 2026, most people will still be the same, complaining, wishing, dabbling, but you are not most people. By walking this path, you become part of the few who walk into a room and command respect without asking for it. Operate from clarity while others drown in confusion. Radiate energy that cannot be ignored. Live lives that others can't even comprehend. The path of the few is not easy, but it is undeniable. Anchoring the vision. The final step is anchoring. The future you is not something you visit occasionally. It is someone you live as daily. Anchor it through language. Speak as your higher self. Habits. Choose as your higher self. Relationships. Surround yourself with people who reflect your higher self. Environment. Shape your spaces to pull you forward. By doing this, the you of 2026 becomes inevitable. The point of no return. By now, you are standing at a threshold. Behind you lies the familiar, the life you've already lived, the identity people have already assigned to you, the chains of habit and limitation. Ahead lies the unknown, the future self who is unrecognizable, untouchable, and legendary. This is the point of no return. You cannot unknow what you've heard. You cannot unsee the vision of your 2026 self. The only question is whether you will honor it or betray it. The legacy principle. Your reinvention is not just about you. It is about the echo you create. By 2026, you will not just be wealthier, sharper, stronger, and more aligned. You will be a living example. Others will watch you and realize change is possible. Reinvention is real. Life can be rewritten. Your friends, family, community, or even strangers will be shifted by your existence. That is your legacy principle, to live so fully that your life itself becomes a message. The fire of commitment. Nothing will happen without ruthless commitment. Desire is weak. Interest is fragile. Commitment is unbreakable. Commitment looks like waking up at 5 a.m. when comfort says sleep. Studying when distractions scream for attention. Training when your body says stop. Building when others are partying. Believing when no evidence exists. Commitment means burning the old ships, leaving no way back, and declaring, I will be unrecognizable by 2026. Nothing less. Walking as the future self now. The secret to transformation is not waiting, it is embodiment now. If your future self is disciplined, then be disciplined today. If your future self is wealthy, then think and act wealthy today. If your future self is spiritually grounded, then live in alignment today. You don't wait until 2026. You become it now. Then time simply has to catch up. The legendary life. When the 6 dimensions converge, something extraordinary happens. You no longer chase, life flows to you. You no longer fear, faith carries you. You no longer blend in, you stand out as undeniable. You no longer ask permission, you move with authority. By 2026, this will not just be theory. It will be your lived reality. People will not recognize you. Some will envy you. Many will admire you. But all will respect the transformation. You will have become legendary. The final call. So here is the choice. Do you continue as the person you've always been, comfortable but forgettable? Or do you step forward, forge the unrecognizable self, and claim the legendary life waiting for you? There is no middle ground. By 2026, you will either be the same person with the same excuses, or A version of yourself so powerful, so complete, so elevated that even your past self wouldn't recognize you. The countdown has already begun. The future is not waiting. The only question is, will you?